If you are looking for the next big stock, I've got news for you. Here are 3 stocks that could make millionaires in the next 90 days, but it's up to you. Are you going to be taking these stocks or not? Today, we're going to evaluate all 3 of these stocks using our OVTLYR Nine framework and see if they are set up as a strong buy all the way to strong sell and see if they really are the stocks that you've been looking for. So let's jump right into it from our friend Felix.
Monday, and I take my ex-investment banker knowledge and I pick stocks that I think are tremendously wonderful for the week ahead and for the months ahead. And I found 3 this Sunday that look so good. I don't want to keep them to myself. So I'm going to walk you through those. And they remind me of stocks like CAR, for example, Avis, which is up 95% right now in my portfolio, or U, which right now is up about 82% in my portfolio, or STRL, which right now is up about 65% of my portfolio. And I'm not promising you any returns or outcomes. This isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy these, but I'm hoping that by running you through my process and what these stocks are, you'll learn and you'll get better at actually picking these stocks. So what's ticker number 1? It is Intuitive Machines, ticker symbol LUNR, a space.
All right, let's jump into this, right? So first, what we want to do is we want to see the outlier slingshot setup all put together. Now, the way that we do this is we look at the market, the sector, and the breadth. 40% of a stock's move is due to the market, 30% is due to the sector, and only the last 30% of the stock's move is due to the stock itself. So let's first take a look at the market. Now, the market's closed right now. We're doing this pre-market. So let's go look, and we can see the SPY, the SPY, has a 10/20 price over 50. So right now, what I see is a bullish trend on the market. So we're going to mark that green. Next, the signal of the market. Inside of Outlier, we can see we have a buy signal that is still active on the S&P 500 as of June 25th. So we're going to mark that green. And next, let's go to the market breadth. Now, market breadth has actually kept me out of the market, and it probably will for the next couple of weeks or so. Also, real huge giant pro tip. When you see staples and utilities, and I don't know if you've known this before, but staples and utilities are defensive plays, meaning when you see these sectors rising, that is not good for the market. That is not good for the market. And by all means, prove me wrong in the chat. By all means, prove me wrong in the chat. But what we're seeing right here is the market breadth. Now, this is measuring how many buy signals we have versus sell signals. So there's 116 buy signals today, 184 sell signals. And you can see it's continuing to push lower and lower and lower on market breadth. And one thing that we've been exploring more is how many stocks are trending up versus trending down. And we're getting more stocks trending down than trending up right now. So market breadth is absolutely bearish to me. Now, he said this ticker name. Let me go back just for a moment.
Technology. It is Intuitive Machines, ticker symbol LUNR.
LUNR. Now, Outlier covers over 2,600 stocks, and I don't know if it's going to cover this one. Let's see. LUNR. Let me double check that I didn't do it incorrectly. LUNR. Let's see. No, that's okay. What sector? LUNR stock. This is the Rocket Lab. So this is going to be in the industrial sector. So that's okay. We can go over to Rocket Lab. RKLB, and we can get the sector information from Rocket Lab because they're in the same sector. So we can see the sector average fear and greed score is going down. So this is the fear and greed score on the stock itself, which we don't cover. The one he's talking about here, whatever it was, LUNR. So we won't be able to do all of the analysis on this, but that's okay. We can still glean at the sector. The sector's fear and greed score on average is going down, and the sector breadth is also going down. So even though we don't have this information down here, we can see that so far of the 5 between the market and the sector, we only have 2 of the 5. So let's continue on. Let's go look at the chart for LUNR. Oof, that's not a good chart to me. Not a good chart to me. Now, why? Well, you do have the 10/20, price over 50, so we can still mark this as a trend is good. However, a close under the 10 EMA is not a stock that I'm interested in, not at all. The signal, we won't know that. The fear and greed, we won't know that. And then any outlier blocks on top of this, there's nothing standing in the way to help push it down. If you want your charts to look exactly like mine and to see the exact same outlier blocks that we have built, all you have to do is go into our Discord, and we actually have a free indicator you can use in your free trading view plan, so you can set up your charts to look exactly like mine 100% for free. So this one is not my favorite. Unfortunately, I don't have all the data to build the OVTLYR Nine, but based on what I can see, I would not trade this one. Now, granted, of course, when he said he recorded it on Sunday, this is the Monday move, right? Anything under the 10 EMA, I would not take. That is an exit signal for me. So of course, timing on that one didn't work out so well, but maybe he's got a good story that'll say why it's so great.
Space technology company that specialize in, guess what? Lunar landers. That's why they're called Lunar. And space infrastructure services and so on. They have major contracts with NASA for lunar deliveries worth about $2.6 billion.
So as he talks, put in the chat for me, just for fun. Like I say, I can't give a full breakdown on how I would rank this. So how would you rank this one? Between Lambo or food stamp, where on the scale would you put Lunar?
Communications with NASA for about $4.8 billion, as well as expanding into the national defense sector. They're literally the first private firm to land on the moon in 2024, which positions them nicely for repeat missions like the one they just did in January. And we're looking for about a 70% revenue growth from these guys. They have about $400 million in cash. They have no debt, which is absolutely wonderful because it means they're not going to go bust tomorrow. They are targeting an actual profit this year, which is not to be taken for granted in these kind of companies. But essentially, the NASA partnerships are driving a lot of this, about $5 billion in contract value. And there's some people out there who are saying that this has a 10x possibility. And I don't really go for price targets like that. I don't really care. I'm just buying them.
I agree. Price targets are useless and meaningless. And honestly, I think price targets can actually set you up for a huge failure. So, and let's explain why. I'm not saying that Felix said this, but I'm saying in general, this is an $11 stock right now. All right. I'm a snob. I don't trade anything unless it's over $20. So I have to zoom so far out to get to what 10x looks like. Okay. So let's put a circle on the chart. You see how itty bitty the chart is, right? You see how itty bitty baby the chart is. Right up there. Right up there is what a 10x looks like, right? So, for example, let's say that you decided, you know what, this is a stock that is going to make me a millionaire in 2025, 2026. But it's only going to do that if it 10x's, right? What are you going to do if it doesn't? What are you going to do if it doesn't? I mean, clearly that is a long, long, long way up, right? We're going, 900% up, basically. Do you really realistically think that you are such a genius that you have found the one stock that's going to 10x? Now, there's lots of YouTubers who will come out, and Felix isn't doing this exactly, but there's lots of YouTubers who will come out and say, buy this one stock and you'll be a millionaire. $75 here will turn into 83 million. We've all seen that. But setting a price target anchor, especially that far away, in my opinion, sets you up for failure right off the bat. And the reason being is that if it never hits this, do you just plan to hold forever? If it has not hit that spot in 2035, 10 years from now, are you still going to be holding it? You realize the opportunity cost of that money sitting in your account, waiting for you to hit your profit target, could be used for all kinds of other investments, right? You could be up making so much money, but yet if you've decided this is your profit target and you will only get out if it hits that profit target, you have sacrificed potentially years of wasted gains waiting for this to be hit, if it even is hit. My chart is not on the 5-minute. My chart is on the daily, my friend. There's all kinds of possibilities that is never going to get hit. So don't ever set a profit target. Just follow your entry and exit points, and that'll help you know if it's working for you or not.
Them and everything looks sweet, and then I get out of them once we have a nice big profit. But there is a pattern here that I look at and that I see and that I learned from my Wall Street mentors, that now the stock moves, once you understand that pattern, I believe you're going to find much, much, much better setups. And if you want to learn that pattern, I could run you through it here, but it would make the video 50.
Oh, that pattern would take just far too long to explain. I understand. It would take so long. You'd probably have to go watch some sort of masterclass, right? I mean, most likely a masterclass is definitely the thing you need to be doing. But in the meantime, you could be watching videos like this from me. I'm a random guy on the internet. My name is Christopher Uhl. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time, and I can back that up. I have videos of me hanging out with these market wizards over on my YouTube channel. Just go over to the playlist section, find the market wizards, and you can actually see those guys, right? It's not just conjecture. It's not just saying, oh, I was taught by the greatest traders on Wall Street. Let's see some receipts. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, here's the thing. I actually really do trade, and I really do trade live here on YouTube. And I think that makes the credibility of this type of channel a little bit more useful than other types of channels where they're like, oh, this is a great stock. Oh, that's a great stock. $75 here will make you a millionaire. We've seen that time and time again. But do these people actually trade? I'm not so sure about that.
15 minutes longer, and it would bore the pants off people who already know it.
Yes, it would bore the pants off me to learn this incredibly amazing pattern that nobody in the world ever has heard of before unless they take a masterclass. I mean, I'll be very honest with you. If you could tell me that pattern, I would certainly not be super bored by that, which is why when you watch my videos, I don't hold anything back. What's there to hold back? I give you literally everything you could possibly want. In fact, if you want to learn everything that I've ever learned ever about trading, we actually have something for you.
Are you ready? Let's go!
Respect is earned. Respect is never given.
Is right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoons. We go live with a group of gentlemen who are in class, and I teach them literally everything I know and saves them at least $6,000, right? Maybe even as much as $84,000. And here's the thing: everything that I teach you, I hold nothing back. What's there to hold back for, right? This is my favorite game in the world, and I just feel blessed and honored that I can play this game with you. Now, here's the thing, right? 50% of you are going to listen passively, and you're not going to do anything about it, right? You're going to listen. It's going to go through in one ear and out the other, and it's not going to change anything in your life. 25% of you are going to listen half-heartedly, go implement what we talk about half-heartedly. You're going to lose on a single trade, and you're going to come back, and you're going to leave me all these troll comments, and you're going to be like, you're such an idiot. I followed everything you said, and I lost money. Yes, any trade can be a loser. Right? I'll never tell you you're going to have 100% win rates, but I will tell you the realities of trading. And the other 25% of you, like the gentlemen who are in class already, who are already making life-changing money, and we haven't even finished the class. We're about 2/3 of the way in. Some of these guys have made literally six figures in the span of a few weeks because they are listening, they are implementing, and they are changing their lives and all future generations by what I'm teaching for free here on YouTube. So the choice is yours. You know what? Listen to all kinds of random guys on the internet, or listen to what we teach in Outlier U for free and change your life. It's up to you. Let's get back to this.
So what I've done instead, I've put that education into a free 15.
Yeah. Let's get past this.
Very happy that you're doing that. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at essentially the highs from May there and here, and where we are right now. And what do you see? Well, you see that we're basically at that level right now. And that's important because we want to exceed the previous highs. The breakout moment essentially happens here, probably a few cents above where we are right now, maybe 12.87, or if you want to be a bit more conservative, $13 or something like that. And you could set up an alert here in Trade Vision as well, which is the software I'm using, which is software that we built to give you guys good data and good tools and so on. And then you get a notification on your app, so you know what's happening out there. But yeah, to me, this looks absolutely textbook. So I'm liking it. Ticker symbol 2 is Uranium Royalty Corp, ticker UROY. And they are...
All right, let's look at UROY. Let's see if we have this one. UROY. Now, if this is uranium... Oh, man, another one that we don't cover? UROY. And I don't know why he's picking these stocks that we don't cover. That's very interesting. UROY. This is going to be in the material sector. And the material sector is going to be XLB. XLB is the material sector. Let's take a look at the material sector. Now, remember, as we're evaluating this, the market information won't change, but the sector information will. So the average fear and greed score for everybody in the material sector, again, is declining. The average fear and greed score for all the constituents in the material sector is declining. And the average breadth, I'm sorry, not the average breadth, but the number of buy signals is also declining. But it looks like it may have bottomed. May have bottomed, come back up. Hasn't quite had that bullish crossover yet. So I can't light these up green either. And again, I won't be able to give a full Lambos or full food stamps breakdown. So let's continue to look at this chart over here. UROY. This is on the daily. Now, this one actually looks a lot better than the previous one. The reason being is that it's a $2 stock. Give me a break. It's got the 10 over 20, price over 50. So we're going to mark that green. Why are we picking these baby stocks? Give me real big boy stocks. That's what I want to see. So it has a bullish trend. It does, however, have this order block right in its way. Like I say, you can get the exact same order blocks that I have on my chart on yours. And why does this matter? This is an area identified as strong support or resistance. And anytime it comes up into these areas of strong resistance, in this case, you could potentially see some real strong pullbacks. Now, it's crossed a few different outlier blocks in the meantime, but it is pushing right up in that direction. And so because of this, I wouldn't trade it at all. I feel like you're asking for trouble when you come up into this kind of area. So we'll have to see. I mean, it could just absolutely dominate straight through that, and that's fine. By all means, go for it. But that is a high risk position for me, not a low risk entry. So, this one's not gonna. How would you rank it? That's what I want to know. The chart does look good. It is way up pre-market, but of course, pre-market's one thing. We have to see how it actually ends at the end of the day. But this chart, I mean, it does look a lot better, but it's just got a lot of overhead resistance that has some issues for me. So how would you rank this? Brian's like, maybe he knows what we don't cover, so we can't pull Lambos or food stamps on it. I don't know. I mean, Brian says food stamps. I like the chart, but I see what I see on here is I see a Tesla Model Y Performance, which is my car, with 2% left in the battery. 2% left on the battery, meaning you can go hard, you can go fast, but you may not be going very far when you go hard and fast. That's what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm going to call it.
Are a uranium-focused royalty company providing essentially exposure to uraniums as a commodity, but they're doing that via royalties and equity and debt, and yes, some physical holdings of about £1 million of uranium. They have partnerships with things like the Forum Energy Metals Aberdeen project, a joint venture with Ignis for assets restarts and so on. But ultimately what this is about is the nuclear renaissance. And what is the nuclear renaissance? It is a decade-long PR campaign to make us think not about pollution anymore or radiation, but only about global warming. And therefore, the only thing we should care about is carbon. It's the only pollutant that matters. So Bill Gates says, and therefore nuclear power plants are clean, right? So it's a really, really good whitewash. And whatever you might think of that, let's make some profits with it. So they have a analyst buy rating. And you know what I think about analysts? I think they are on a good day, on a good analyst day, not on a good cheap day. And they have a price target of about $4 to $5. That will be about a 60 to 100% upside from here. And essentially, they're making money on royalties coming in. And then also, as uranium prices keep climbing up, they make money on the inventory and so on. So it's a smart exposure to a uranium bull market without the mining risks, because unsurprisingly, it's a little dangerous to dig uranium out of the ground, right? You come out looking like you glow in the dark, apparently. So if you look at this little pattern here, what have we got? We got the same ziggity-zaggity pattern. And really all I'm looking at is to exceed the previous high at 259, which we've already done. So I'm actually very happy with exactly where this is right now. To me, this looks like a big, beautiful setup.
I agree. I mean, just looking at charts right here, like I say, it absolutely looks like it's got a lot of legs to it. Certainly a very bullish chart. Just for Chris, this is absolutely one I would not trade. I would not buy this even if it was with your money. That's how I feel about this. Let's keep going here.
And then if I zoom in a little bit, I show you something cool, and you might want to take a note of this. That is the volume down here. Can you see those volume bars are picking up down there? Few people look at that, but it means that when the stock's going up and the volume's going up, that every day there are more buyers, more people entering. And that's usually a nice run up to more traders, more hedge fund, more institutional money pouring in. So that's exactly the sweet spot that we want to be looking for. So for me, this looks great. You have to come to your own conclusions as always. So be smart about stuff, position sizing, overall risk management and stops and all that kind of good stuff, which you learn a lot about if you go to—
Come on, again.
MTSI. It stands for—
Okay, let's see if we have MTSI. Of the three MTSI, listen, we cover 2,600 of the most liquid stocks out there. Oh, we do. We have this one. Okay. That's so weird, though, that 2 of the 3 he talked about we don't cover. That's super rare. Okay, let's look at MTSI. This is in the tech sector. So let's reset this. The market won't change. Let's look at the sector. So the sector average fear and greed score actually bottomed and is starting to push back up slightly. It bottomed around 60.89 and now it's at 61.08. So the average fear and greed score is increasing in this sector. Very cool. Next, breadth. We haven't had that crossover just yet, but it looks really, really close. It may cross over in the next day or two. So I'm not going to give you that just yet, but it is really, really close. Now let's go look even deeper. We have the buy signal on here. This is finally a big boy stock, $142. On Friday, we got the buy signal. Okay. And let's look at the trend. We have the outlier trend template set up, 10 over 20, price over 50. So this is looking better. All right. The fear and greed, the average fear and greed score, well, not average, but the fear and greed score for this is getting more greedy. Now you can see it went sideways for a while, and you can see the fear and greed score kind of ticked down a little bit, and now it's starting to tick back up. What you want is the greed to be rising, right? Everybody wants to get into a stock, right? That's when everybody's screaming, buy, buy, buy. More and more people are getting greedy and greedy and greedier. That's where you want to be. You want to be riding that curve up, not riding the curve down. And it is starting to tick up just a little bit here. And then let's go look at MTSI on the chart and see if there's any outlier blocks on top of it. MTSI. Oof, yes, again. And it's inside of an order block right now. Now, here's the thing, right? Even if this all 9 was set up for me, if it had an outlier block, I would not buy it. I would not buy it. Right? It's going to be struggling to push past this. Now, it could push past this in one single day. But right now, it is really having some issues breaking through this resistance here. And then right above it, it has resistance as well. Again, I look at this and I'm like, you know what? It's got a lot going for it, but it could be a Tesla Model Y performance in sport mode. You're at the red light. It's got 2% battery left. And then a 16-year-old kid pulls up in his Mustang. Listen, where I live, 16-year-old kids and Mustangs is a real thing. No, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it is a real thing. In fact, this happened to me once. So I was driving down the road, and this kid pulls up in his Mustang, and he's got the settings where his pipes are loud as they could be, and he starts revving it at me. And I got my 2 boys in the back seat, and my kids are like, "Dad, race him! Dad, race him!" And first off, I know I'd smoke him. Second off, I'm like, bros, I'm not doing that. I got kids in the back seat, right? So this is like the kid pulled up to you at the red light. He's revving his engine, and then you look at your Model Y performance, and you see it has 2% battery left, and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I know I'd smoke them, but there's no way that I would take it because I just think that there's more risk than reward in a setup just like this. Just my opinion, though. How would you rank it? That's what I want to hear. SJ says working sideways in an order block, then another one awaits. Yeah, tough, tough, tough. How would you rank this Lambos to food stamps? Of course, it can be anything in between. Tell me what you would think. Mike says, is there a point on the heat map as it rises where you won't enter? Yes. In fact, one of my rules is I won't enter it if it goes over 90 on the fear and greed heat map. And it got pretty close to 90 up here. It didn't quite hit it. It's currently at 77 right now. In fact, if it reaches 90, this is a new rule I came up with yesterday on the fly. If it reaches 90, I actually would consider that bearish because we've basically maxed out as high as it can go. The only thing left to do is for people to start getting more fearful. Carl says a Chevy Impala. Paul says the soup line. Albertone says pedal to the metal unless the metal is uranium. Okay. And Dr. J says food stamps. Manny says it's a snapback. Shane the plumber says, Chris, to me, I wouldn't drive a car into an order block, right? That's like turning the wheel into a wall. Very good said. Very well said. Very well said. Let's see how great of a stock it is.
Macom Technology Solutions Holding Inc. It's a semiconductor firm. What do? They design RF, microwave, millimeter waves, photonic products for essentially telecom data centers and also for defense. And while everybody's looking at NVIDIA and AMD and the big
Charlotte has a great question. If all 9 are lit up, but the chart shows it'd be closed under the prior day's low, would you wait another day? Absolutely. In fact, that is one of my rules, Charlotte. Let me go to that slide real quick so you know I'm not just speaking out my backside. If it is below the prior day's low, I will not take the trade. Where is that slide? Hold tight. Here. It must be above the prior day's low. This is one of my final chart checks real quick. If it's below the prior day's low, I'm not taking it. There's no way that I'm buying it.
Boys, good stocks in my opinion. But NVIDIA's a what, $4 trillion company? So what would it take for that to double? A lot of money. Like a lot of money. So it's not going to double by next month. It's just never going to happen. Whereas for some of the smaller plays, you have potentially a higher upside opportunity here. Now, MTSI got about...
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. Be it a $1.40 stock or $140 stock, if you have enough people getting greedy, it will push the price up hard and fast, right? In fact, let's use the GameStop analogy. Okay, let's use the GameStop analogy. Now I have to go back to 2021 to do this, but at one point, I think there's been some reverse split, so it's kind of messed up my prices. But at one point, GameStop was, sorry, I got to do a lot of zooming around here, was a $2-3 stock, right? And then GameStop became a $23 stock. That didn't stop people from buying it at $23 when it was at $3. And then it became a $59 stock. That didn't stop people from buying it when it went from 3 to 23 to 59. And then it became a $118 stock. Did that necessarily stop people from buying it? Maybe. But I think there was a lot more going on. Probably the fact that Robinhood pulled whatever shenanigans they pulled. But the point is that if it's a great stock, if it really does have that move, the price of the stock really isn't going to matter.
$345 million in government funding under the CHIPS Act, which allows them to expand faster. These guys have revenue and they have profits. They beat expectations by about 33% on growth, which is very, very cool. And we expect them to bring in about $1 billion this year in revenue.
Okay, we're going to change gears slightly and talk about Open. So we talked about Open yesterday afternoon, and if you're watching the replay, the video is going to come out here in just a moment. Dude, this stock has been bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But we did get that buy signal a few weeks before. It got the 10 over 20, price over 50, bullish trend. And this is what I mean by the heat map. It is actually at 100.0. It has maxed out our fear and greed score. What is left? If you have, let's conceptualize this, right? Let's think about this logically here. If you have a fear and greed of 50, you could make it more fearful this way, or you could make it more greedy, right? It could go either direction. If you have a fear and greed score of 80, it can get more greedy, but really not all that much. But it could get a lot more fearful. If you have a fear score of 0 and a greed score of 100, what's left? If it has maxed out the greed, what is left? The only thing that's left is fear. So people are going to panic sell their face off this. Just wait. In fact, I want to see real quick on Open Door. Hang on, we need to get all the way up to today. People are going to panic sell their face off of Open Door. don't know. And then it's got order blocks all day, outlier blocks, or all day on top of this. So we covered 3 stocks that, what was the title of the story? 3 stocks that could make millionaires in the next 90 days. Granted, I didn't have all the data that I normally like to have to analyze these. But at the end of the day, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to grow your trading account, you really need to follow a proven process and a proven plan. That's what we cover here on this channel. So if you want the hype, if you want the excitement of trading, there's all kinds of great channels out there. But if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, I would really encourage you to start by watching one of these 2 videos, and we'll talk soon.